Hello, I hope I'm not a little bit skew because my tripod is a little bit skew. Hello, Jupiter stations direct today. This is very, very exciting. It's in Gemini, but before I talk about that, I want to just mention that you always have the ability to turn things around. You don't have to wait for a retrograde, you don't have to wait for a full moon, a new moon, a specific transit. However, they are very, very potent channels that are always available to you. So knowing your life map and understanding where these changes are taking place within your own life is going to empower you more. That is a wonderful starting point. If you're starting your spiritual journey, if you're wanting to live more intentionally, then definitely follow the advice that people like I come out and talk about. But don't rely on that, is what I want to say, because I know some people have a tendency to feel that they need other people to tell them what to do. And I'm very, very happy to bring this information out here because it is important and it is beautiful. And we do have this magical energy always available to us. But don't feel that you need to wait for somebody to tell you it's okay to do something now. Okay. That's on you. You find your own feet within the rhythms, and the more you listen to somebody like me who's talking about astrology or numerology or cards or whichever format they're using, I've just completely lost my train of thought. Okay, well, there you go. So Jupiter is a good luck energy. It is always wanting to reward you, I like to say. However, if you are in a state where things are not great, it's going to expand that as well. It expands any and everything, whether it's comfortable or uncomfortable. So, for example, when people have Jupiter transiting their first house, they can pick up weight because suddenly eating is very, very, very nice, and it not enhances that, it expands that. So then we can overindulge a little bit. So sometimes you'll have a Jupiter transit and somebody might say to you, don't go overspending again, because it just expands whatever is feeling good at the time. Okay. It is in Gemini. It's about information, relating that information, playing. We need to bring some playing back into our life. When we have multiple retrogrades like we do at the moment, as you know, Mars is also in retrograde, Mercury was also wonking with us. We've got planets aligning in the sky. We've got many things happening. As I've said before, it is a many things happening time. So this is a great one to come back into station direct again, because now the forward movement becomes a little easier. With Mars in retrograde, a lot of you are definitely feeling that murky feeling of, oh, I need to get my day started, but how? Or whatever it is, you want to partake in something, but there's just this lag somewhere else, and now you have to wait. It's that, Jupiter in retrograde will do the same, although it won't make us feel like there's not enough forward motion because Mars is really the action planet. With Jupiter, it might feel like, actually what I wanted to open up this clip with was expect miracles. And that's really all I want to say about this time now is expect miracles. Jupiter coming back round, it's important for you to know where Gemini is in your chart so that you can get a little bit more pinpointed more or really work in that area. But expect miracles, especially in the field of information, of it's mercurial, it's thoughts, it's perhaps you finding that, again, it's only happened today, so I give it a day or 3 in any case, but you might feel that suddenly you're talking easier again, you're not kind of finding yourself going, oh, what was I saying? Or it's just coming. We always are asked to go inwards when we are experiencing a retrograde. I did not do a clip when it went into retrograde, so I don't know what you went inward with, if at all, anything. But if you just gently think back now, any kind of niggling things that came up, perhaps you realize that a way you're doing something admin-wise hasn't been working, or perhaps anything related to information. Whatever came up for you, if anything, I hope that you can feel the of it. Okay. But always, Jupiter really always is that one family member that is just everybody's favorite. That's Jupiter. So when things come to your door now, unless you really don't want it, be open. If you are somebody who, for example, let's say you are a project manager, you might find that suddenly, it feels like suddenly out of the blue, there are now a whole lot more project potentials dropped on your table. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. It might feel like a small change, but it can have really big knockoffs, good positive knockoffs. And of course, we're always happy when a planet goes back direct when we have more than one in retrograde, and that is also happening now. So take a nice deep breath, give thanks, get excited, bring up those conversations that you haven't in a while. If anything came up over the last 4 months or so that is something that you have, so in other words, it's not a new thing, it's something maybe that you've thought about last year or a few months ago, and in these last 3 or 4 months it came back, that's always a good thing to pay attention to. Because you're asked to go inwards during retrogrades, even though some things in retrogrades we say don't start it right now, wait. However, there's this magical thing with something that may have started or may have been planted in the past, but for some reason didn't carry on. Now is a good time, if those have come up, really pay attention to it. Can you make it happen? I promise you, things are not as daunting as we think they may be. And people are a lot more open to whatever ideas you may be having, no matter how silly you think they are or out there. We need that. We need that. We need that. Take a look at what's happening in the world for me to just say again, we need you. We need your special magic. If you're a quirky, zany goofball, be that. Don't try and indulge yourself when you walk into a room because you think the other people aren't going to appreciate that. I did that for so long with what I do for a living, and it's nonsense. I'm not doing it anymore. If you don't understand what I do and you get frightful of me just because you don't understand what I do, you're probably not someone I want in my space in any case. That sounds quite harsh, but that's how we need to start looking at things now. If you need to stay full the whole time in order to make it through a day or create something magical that you've been struggling with, or to feel stronger in yourself or to feel more confident, everything else falls by the wayside now. That person who you think isn't impressed with you or doesn't like you, so what? Maybe you don't actually like them at all either. And you know what? That person's got no impact on your life. So take this time, really dream big, expect the miracles, and just go for it. Go for it, go for it, go for it. In a world where there is so much craziness, you can be a voice of reason even if you don't think you are. And actually, especially if you don't think you are. It's been such an interesting time. I sit down lately and I'm jotting down subjects to talk about and looking in the calendar. And I'm always aware that there's so much here on the tip of my tongue that I just want to talk about. But it would be hours and hours worth of stuff. And really, what I'm seeing more and more and more is that the biggest thing to say is that even though it's confusing, and that was actually what I was getting at, I can say this thing about this subject, but then in the very next breath, I can say, oh, but don't worry about it. Or I can say, oh, don't worry, but this is actually, a big thing. So it can be very confusing, but really we are starting to find our feet. We really are. If you've been paying attention, like I've been asking over the last few years, to your values, what it is you really believe in, what it is you really want, those are going to stand you in very good stead. Are you looking after your body? Are you treating it well? Are you doing things you don't want to do? How are you going to stop that? Do you understand that it's absolutely your right to stop doing things that are not making you happy or that you don't want to do? And again, I'm not talking about the little things like dishes, because we have to do those, right? There's a certain structure in a day. If we don't do those things, life will become messy. But I'm talking about the bigger things, okay? The colleague at work who really makes you feel uncomfortable. Why do you want to go to work and stay feeling uncomfortable because they can't handle being told off? That's not how this shit works, right? Sorry for the swearing. So take a deep breath. It's getting lighter. It's getting lighter. Also, for a very important reason, because, and I hope this is true for you, it's getting easier because we're taking responsibility. It's getting easier because the responsibility we need to take is not terrible. It's actually bloody exciting. when I was a kid, and I think all kids and teenagers, when you get told, take responsibility for this, immediately you feel like you've been berated, and now it's just taking responsibility is a terrible thing, and I don't want to do it. It's actually the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful gifts you can ever give yourself. Ever. So, Celebration Day, and I will do a write-up post as well on a little bit more about retrogrades. I'll do a recording as well about retrogrades. I would love if you subscribe to my channel. It really helps me. And I also have a private Facebook group, which is called Soulstone Sanctuary, which you are welcome to join as well. And I must say, I'm really enjoying doing these videos. Thank you for being here and listening to me. I really appreciate it. So, just another reason why I'm saying thank you and I'm excited like this is because I can feel these changes in my life as well. And I have mentioned before that my natal placement is Mars in Cancer, and of course now Mars is in Cancer. So it has been, but what has really stood me in good stead, and again is something I keep telling people, or I'm telling you, is focus on those little things. I'll give you an example. This morning, I woke up, I did not sleep well last night. I woke up and was on the verge, and I just say falling into a hole. I mean, it's just the easiest way of describing it. And just actually knew that that is not going to serve me in any way, shape or form, or any of the people around me. So I put some music on, and you know what? It wasn't even a stretch. Sometimes we know if we do this thing, it'll help, but we just don't even have the energy to do it. But I'm telling you, I put a Bob Dylan song on this morning, and quite often it'll just put, YouTube creates a mix for you of other songs that you've been listening to, and of course this one didn't, and on my feed I saw a song I really love and I played it, and that mix was honestly the best thing I could have done for myself this morning. So I have listened to music and danced. Because of that, I've been smiling, I've been proactive, I've been productive. I swam today because I love doing it and I knew it would make me feel better, and my hair's still busy drying and I feel great for it. I have a flower that I'm going to send a photo of, a very rare one that I've noticed and I'm tending to. I planted a rose, you call it a steegje in Afrikaans, a cut-off, and I'm really hoping that's going to take. So I've spent a lot of time with that today. And by doing those things, I've actually filled my day of productivity because I've just been filling myself. So it just becomes a natural progression of feeling better, doing more, achieving more, experiencing more, but at the end of the day, just feeling better. There is nothing like feeling good, feeling yourself, feeling empowered, that when you aren't feeling so lucky, that you remember and that you know there are things that you can do. All right, I'm wafting a little bit. Give thanks. Give thanks. Life is changing, but life is changing amazingly. And as your astrologist, I am very excited about that. Okay, see you soon. Bye.